pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jamie Kendall is absent. Darcy McSwain, absent. Paul Jenderski,
Here.
Edgar Titoff,
Present.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Kathy Harris,
Present.
and Lois Tiley is absent.
Any adjustments to the agenda?
No, sir.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the agenda for September 13th, 2023.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any announcements, public comment?
We have Cameron Haskell and Chris here. I'd like to speak to council in the village.
My name is Chris Matty. This is Cameron Haskell. We are members of the Tri-City Disc Golf community, as well as members of Team Breaking Aces, a local disc golf retailer around here. As I'm sure everyone knows, we've got a disc golf course over in Coal Miners Park. It's got some pretty old baskets, as well as it's been in need of some pretty severe improvements for a while. During the pandemic, disc golf really exploded in popularity, and I'm sure that course has seen a lot heavier traffic since. Last year, we decided to run a couple fundraising events as part of an effort to raise money for brand new baskets to be installed there. And through those efforts, we have $3,000 in this envelope to go towards that, as well as Casey Griffin, the club head for the local leagues here, has been collecting money for that as well, and there's another $611
Yes.
for that going towards that as well. I know Sam Mayer has a quote for about $7,200 for those new baskets, so this is to help with that, help improve the course, and bring a little bit of added beauty, and hopefully something that the community can take some pride in.
How many do you have to replace? Did they all need to be replaced?
So they did just recently replace the practice basket, so that's not necessarily an issue, but the remaining 18 would need replaced.
I'm not a disc golf guy, but is it like golf? I'm a golfer.
It's
Nine holes,
it's
you get
similar. I
nine
mean,
baskets? Is that what it goes?
It's an 18-hole disc golf course. The baskets are one of the very original models by.
Do you look at
company.
upgrade, is that what you're saying, or you
Yeah.
look at
Effectively,
replace?
yes. So the baskets that are there currently are DGA Mach 2s. That's the model of the basket. They're gotta be 20 years old. at
Probably
this
the
point.
originals, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a 2-chain, light chain setup. They're pretty poor. It's been kind of a running joke through the community that they don't catch hardly any putts. And the baskets, I think that we were talking to Sam Mayer about getting are actually from MVP Disc Sports, which is a Michigan-made company. They're out of Marlette. They have the baskets that we're looking to getting are baskets that you would see on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, where the top tier players are playing on.
And just to add, this is a fundraiser that Sam came to us last year and talked about, these guys were a part of, and we're looking for like state official or official
Yeah.
baskets so you can start holding tournaments. And that's when the
Yes.
money starts coming in. They bring in 20 to 40 teams at, $500 a team, whatever it is, and we would work out, split of that would bring people to revenue to the community, restaurants, things of that nature, so.
You know that's how much money they actually bring in, I mean, it's just.
So
Well, it brings
win
in
these
money.
tournaments?
It brings in money.
it brings in a decent
I know
amount of
nothing
money,
about it.
and the big thing is with advancing the baskets and improving them. Our sponsors already talked about hosting tournaments here. The whole reason this area doesn't really get a lot of tournaments is because of the baskets at the current moment. As the years go on, basket designs improve, and you would be basically getting at least the number 1 or number 2 basket in the world right now.
What you're saying, you pretty much got half the money?
Yes, we have half the money. And I
What they're basically saying is, we have a very nice course, but we have obsolete baskets.
Yes.
We need to upgrade with what everybody's got around the area, around the state.
As it is,
And I can say up in Saginaw Township at Wicks Park, they also just replaced all 18 of their baskets just a week
19.
ago. 19 of the
Yeah.
baskets, sorry, they replaced their practice basket.
and
To the exact same baskets that we're looking at getting, and already from the people that have played, it's already receiving pretty rave reviews.
and Chesaning also did the exact same thing.
They haven't done it yet,
Okay, sorry, they have the baskets
They're
picked
working
out.
on it, yeah.
but they're
And-
gonna be doing the same thing. It's a very large scale through the whole Tri-City disc golf community between Saginaw, Chesaning, we were looking at Freeland,
They're
Auburn,
course.
Auburn just got a new course put in with all of the
Is
same
this
kind
like a
of
bowling thing? Does it start in the spring or does it go all summer or the
Uh,
fall?
they'll go year round. In fact,
Yeah.
St. Charles actually is one of the only courses I know of that they have a group that runs a weekly doubles league throughout the whole winter.
Mhm.
So even snow, ice, any of that crap, they're still out there playing. Not me. I'm not doing it. But there's some crazy people that will go out there and still keep playing. And it's all year round. Through flooding, mosquitoes, people will make it work.
Mhm. We have also talked to MVP, the company that the baskets would be going through. Most times they do a freight charge of like $500 for shipping. Since they are in the state of Michigan, they're willing to waive that and let us locally pick them up.
Even if you get the money for the baskets, do you guys put them on yourself? You got to pay somebody
That
to do
would
it?
have to be.
I talked to Sam Mayer today. He said he and his crew would do a weekend and put them up themselves, saving us from all the complete hassle of having to pay somebody to do it. So Sam was on it. The other thing we discussed is what to do with the old 18 baskets, whether we donate to Hartley or the school. To try, there's some schools, I think Hemlock was one you mentioned, that are starting to bring disc golf to gym class. And then another thing is with Hartley busting in all the students from out counties that they could start disc golf, put 9 holes. I don't know if we want to go 9 here,
Split
9
them
there, which is kind of what we discussed. But that's something that I'd run by the Parks Committee, talk with the school, talk with Hartley, and eventually bring back to you hopefully in October. But I thank you for $3,000 to the village parks. What a
Yes, thank you.
Or you can give it to the mayor. That'd be great.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
We'll get that done for you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. And Sam's goal is to have the new baskets up before the frost is in the ground. So I will bring this to next week to the Parks Committee to discuss. There is some funds in the account. We gotta see as far as a 5-year plan. I think it was a little bit lower down, see if this is something we can expedite based on the additional money. So I think there'd be $3,589 left to cover the cost. So again, no labor, no shipping. So, and to bring it so we could host tournaments, and again, it's about bringing people to town. We have a great course. I don't play per se, but I'd love to have people here. I went up after work, there were 6 cars, people playing at 5 o'clock. So, it's a big deal.
10 years ago, when we started the St. Charles Sports Hall of Fame, we did a fundraiser in our park, and I was impressed with how much we didn't have to do and how much money we made off of it.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
crazy.
It was like $3,000.
Wow.
you
I
know.
haven't seen it, but yeah, I'm okay with it. They get outside and get some exercise, I'm good with that.
People,
Yeah.
people play that.
Like you said, year
Love it.
round, and Don, we were talking to somebody kind of during COVID, like, people are out, just want to get outside and do something, and they're talking about, they have an app and like a Facebook page that people just log in every day and, hey, I'm playing at 2, meet me there, and Zoom.
They do play all winter long, you look
They
down
do.
and see cars parked there.
I've seen them before.
So, I thought that was awesome, and, probably should get those guys a picture or something and throw it on our Facebook page, thanking them. I'll have to give them a call or text them later, but awesome.
Any other announcements, public comments?
You want me to speak now or during public comments?
You can go now, or you can wait for the last one if you'd like.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay. Spicer engineer report.
Good evening. I believe everyone got a copy of the engineer's report I sent Hart. Updated maps of the phase 1 project I handed out prior to the meeting. Again, made good progress last month. Not a whole lot of color change on the map, but I'm sure you guys have seen they got all the restoration done on Bell Ave.
It's looking good, actually. Surprised the
sidewalk.
grass came up.
That grass was
Grass
quick.
came up.
I need some of that.
3 days it was up like,
I
holy
thought
crap.
that too.
Really good. They're continuing to water it out there. We do have to go back and remove a couple hydrants still, and then also there's some asphalt driveways they gotta take care of, but they're not gonna take care of those until, we get some more asphalt work for the company.
Yeah, it's actually looking good, it is. Some of the driveway, I haven't heard one complaint, so. But somebody was asking me about trees, are we gonna plant trees? You said something about trees.
Yep, September 30th, 10 trees on West Bell, 5 over at Waterfall Park, and then 5 down Chesaning. Actually, WNEM 5 did a little blip of it yesterday, asking Pete volunteers to sign up. I threw it on our Facebook page before I walked in here. Hopefully, people will join, but we're gonna probably have, the foresters gonna come out next week, the next 2 weeks, we're gonna dig the holes. They've tagged the trees, they said they couldn't get a certain type of tree we wanted for West Bell due to the supply, and they found them from a different company for less. So we're gonna have all the right trees. I don't know if I sent you guys a map of the types and where, but should be a big event. I'm bringing in 4 breakfast cheesecakes and some coffee for everybody, some waters. It says bring shovels, gloves, 20 trees to go in, hopefully between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. It's Saturday, September 30th.
You'd have to remind me, 'cause I'm busy.
Okay. I'll send it out. I'll keep inviting. Keep posting on Facebook, cause after the first post, I think we had 2 people sign up, so. I know they're gonna bring, foresters and groups, but maybe if Mr. Wiki, I'd reach out to Matt, see if NHS hours or the football team wants to get involved, Ed. I don't know if you're in there, but,
We play games on Saturdays.
okay, maybe varsity JV guys or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, have them show up in their jerseys.
8, 9-year-olds with shovels, not a good idea. Varsity's probably better. JV, yeah.
Yeah, it's looking pretty
Good
good.
idea.
So where we're at right now, Charles Street, they got all that water main done, water services done on Charles. The west alley behind the gas station there and library, that's all done. Just waiting for pavement back there again, and now they moved to Clinton Street.
Down by the hardware, I see, you're on the one side, but what about the other side, there's stuff?
So that's a bore we're doing right there, so we're gonna bore from Charles all the way to Marcy.
So you're not gonna tear up the road, main road?
Not gonna tear up the main road. So they started working on that today, they're gonna work on it tomorrow and hopefully pulling pipe through there Friday. I think the plan after that is to start on the east alley as well as some of the work over on East Hosmer and see where we end up.
So what are you saying, wrapping up by winter?
That's the goal.
Okay.
I think we had a completion date of December 31st, so we haven't change ordered a new date in, and we've got the material right now. You know, the one issue we've continued to battle throughout the project is the additional galvanized services that we're finding on private property. If you guys remember, we did the hydro excavation project 2 years ago, wasn't it, or a year and a half ago, and identified services. Once we got into the project, we found more, so.
And so just of the 400 we did, about 20% were lead or galvanized to be treated like lead, and as you recall, the state demands that we replace them. And it's unfunded, so it's on us, which is awful. Another unfunded state mandate from people, bureaucrats in Lansing who apparently don't have lead service lines at their homes.
Gotta have
So-
water.
Go ahead, Paul.
Like I said, you gotta have water though.
Right, and like I said, I mean, we found several services that we identified as, you know, an acceptable material, and a couple feet away from where we identified them, they switched material, so.
And another thing the state didn't think of is the liability going into the house. So we're responsible for 18 inches into the house. What happens in a year if something happens? Is it on us? Are you gonna help us pay for it? Is it on them? Things they didn't think about while trying to, pass legislation that looked good after the Flint incident.
So where we're at with that, I mean, I give Don and the village credit, we are replacing them as we find them, which, again, there's no better time to do it than now. We've got a price to do it, we're there, everything's
I
tore
thought
up.
Westlocks were doing, to help you guys with that.
Westlock was gonna do the connections on the interior, but the DPW's taking care of most of them. I think Westlog's had, what, a couple done?
If it's just a simple connection, we can handle it. If it's changing any plumbing or anything like that, then I think we've had him do 3 homes.
Goodness.
3 or 4.
So
I think I've seen that on a,
Yeah, it's in our pay,
So
accounts
we-
payable.
it's a lot less than we anticipated as far as that end of it goes, but,
It's expensive though.
you know, nothing's cheap.
And I think I emailed to you guys, kind of, that's where, the only spot where we're really kind of losing money. We've kind of budgeted very well for everything except for into the home.
And as far as project budget goes, you know, that, I mean, if there's one item that sticks out, that would be it. But we do have contingency fund and, you know, we do have contingency items within the project and, I mean, right now, it's been more than what we expected, but it's still within budget, so. And like I said, the village, you know, we're taking a proactive approach to get these taken care of while everything's tore up. So we've gotten off 52, which I think everyone's happy about, and
I figured I'd hear a ton more complaints about the driveways and the sidewalks and that. I haven't heard one, not one person.
knock
That's
on
good,
wood,
yeah.
so.
You know, actually, Don Hunley from MDOT gave me a call and was pretty pleased with M52 and how it looks and everything.
Yeah.
Get putting back together, so.
Kudos.
I told the chief, I think we got one speed limit sign we gotta put up still.
We were just talking about that today.
Yeah.
And to talk about how thorough they are on every driveway, every sidewalk, they have video, and they have in here a list of the house number, where it was, and the minutes on the video where it's at, so I have received one complaint, and we go to the video, look at it, he's right, but we're not doing the asphalt yet until the ground's getting done, so that was the only one. And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't know that, I knew you, I said, we're gonna, whatever it was before, it's going to be when it's done.
Actually, some
Unfortunately.
places it's better, that's why they're not complaining.
Does anyone have any questions on the phase 1 project?
No,
We've
not at all.
been working on a couple estimates of cost with Hart on, some work downtown here on the boulevards and.
One complaint I heard on Hosmer, somebody tore up some trees, there's a bunch of mulch there and weeds are up to your belly button. You know
We'll
what I'm
get
talking
that,
about.
I saw
602
that,
Hosmer.
we'll get that taken care of.
They made the
this
mess, I don't know
week.
why they didn't clean it up right away, but it looks like.
Yeah, I think the tree company took the tree down, I don't know if Eric just
No one's
overlooked.
went
It's
back
piled
there.
up, I just went by there, it's like a couple feet high, and,
Yeah,
yeah,
right
you
on
can't
the-
mow,
Right on the corner there, yeah.
you can't just spray a weed, you need to knock all that crap down, it's
We'll
pretty
get
bad.
that taken care of.
It's pretty bad.
We will be digging right through there here.
And he just heard,
hopefully
the
in a week or
neighbors that are
so,
complaining
so,
about it too, so.
Well, like I was saying, we're working on, a couple estimates with Hart on the boulevard here, stamp sidewalk, stamp concrete, removing that, replacing the sidewalk.
Yeah, that sidewalk's bad too, I think he dropped the trees on the sidewalk and tore it up pretty good, so, yeah. It comes with time, I get it.
Comes with time, safe routes to school, which I believe there's an agenda item on here, and we can, if there's any further, we can talk about that then, but just revising the PECs, I think we're looking for what, about $900,000 project?
Yep.
Just
How much?
900,000. That's through the Safe Routes program, Michigan Fitness Foundation, and the school's large.
And we threw a
large play
category
in
B
that.
grant for that.
Yeah.
Hoping we get it, probably not likely, but that'd be an extra 250 in infrastructure, sidewalks and roads to throw towards the 900,000. So another $1 million that, we would only have to match the 250, so we get over a $1 million project for $250,000.
Then we've got, doing a kind of a parking study at Coal Miners Park. I've got a couple of preliminary layouts for Hart and Dunn to take a look at.
Lumberjack,
And then Hart and I just talked about, probably the next item we need to start kicking around is the pump station. We did a little bit of work on that last year with some controls upgrades.
Say, didn't we just dump a bunch of money into that upgrades on that pump?
Not a little bit of money on some controls upgrades, but, you know, the big thing I will say with pump station projects and any grant funding or, you know,
It seems
through
like
the
that
state.
never ends though, just like always.
State revolving fund and whatnot, it's not money you're gonna see today or tomorrow, it's 4 or 5 years probably down the road.
So we're gonna, our hope is to apply in October, intent to apply, so that we can maybe get a project by 2027, 2028.
Didn't we just upgrade the the pump station?
It's $4,000
Just,
each
just
for
the controls.
the controls for the water tower, so it's all electronic now, so that if something happens,
It goes to your, yeah.
Just the communication end of it.
yeah.
I think that's all. Oh, we met, Kenny Industries was out here and we met on the meter pit and pressure reducing valve with them. And kinda gonna incorporate that right into some of our work we're doing on the asset management grant. So that was a good meeting. Some capital work probably that needs to take place there, but that's how the village gets the water, so.
I would just add on the sidewalk and boulevard removal downtown, it'd probably be a DDA project, so it wouldn't be village funds per se, it'd be state authorized downtown development authority tax increment financing funds. We're gonna look at that, if, you know, I've heard some people complain about the setup, I've heard people, definitely, the sidewalk's awful downtown, I've seen people trip and fall. That stamped looks nice, but it's slippery, so.
It's hard on the feet.
Yeah, we'll get numbers and see if it's something that, a project that we could do currently, if not, we'll plan for the future. One of the things I'd like to do as part of that is there's not a lot of electricity downtown or power. Behind the sign is like the last spot, and then you'd have to dig and tear up everything. So if we can get more power, so we can do more during festivals, maybe have some musical acts, maybe the lights above the downtown for winter time, or some people in the DDA have talked about lamp posts with speakers in it, so you can play Christmas music. And I've seen it in Lansing, I don't know if that's something that they want here, but we'll figure it out.
And some solar lights on the water tower.
I've seen, I don't remember where it was, they do Christmas lights on their water tower, and that change colors at Halloween, it looks pretty cool, but
You gonna put them up?
I'm not going up there, no.
It's the second chance to get up there.
You can do it by yourself so nobody can laugh at you as long as.
The whole thing was shaky, and it was just
Yeah,
small.
so we'll get you cherry picked about that.
Any
The crane with a
questions?
harness, so we just
Good,
lift you.
It was nuts.
thank you.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch.
Council minutes for August 9th, 2023.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Down on first page towards the bottom, like the third paragraph from the bottom, it says motion by Harris, second by Nesbit to approve Old Fashioned Christmas Parade to be held on Saturday, December 2nd at 5:30 p.m. Parade to follow at 6:30.
So it should say tree lighting, not parade on the first one.
Okay. So the first one should be.
Old fashioned Christmas tree lighting.
Okay.
I've asked Tito to do the tree lighting.
Okay.
His final year, he might be retired at that point, who knows? He's put a lot into this park, into the village. He said, I'll have to think about it. I said, you're the one that's gonna be putting it up anyway, you might as well just stay and light it. But we'll see what he says, but that's who I've asked thus far.
He's gonna retire, he better move and change his name.
The only thing he has said, you know, he's a humble person. The bikes coming into town on both sides, he fabricated themselves and did them himself, and he's never gotten credit for it. He said, when I'm retired and gone, meaning retired, not gone, just a little plaque, you know, saying that made by Tito Gone would be cool.
Oh.
And so I thought that's something we can easily accommodate.
Mhm.
But I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
I did not know that he did that.
I'll make a motion to accept the corrections to the minutes, or, sorry. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the August 9th, 2023 council minutes with the correction, tree lighting.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Commission committee reports. DDA September 8th, 2023.
So the Christmas tree lighting's gonna be downtown this year? Is that what I'm reading?
I don't know if there'll be a tree lighting for the downtown one, but they wanna bring a tree downtown Second Boulevard where Sam sits, a
Okay.
larger one,
Okay.
so they offered to purchase it.
Okay.
Don't we always put a Christmas tree down there? I mean, was this gonna be any different?
It's gonna be a larger tree, they're looking for bigger size. There's one by the kiosk, there's kinda one, small one by Santa.
Here was a good one too. Who in here listens to the Moose? I mean, I listen to a little bit of country. But the Moose is up in Mount Pleasant or whatever. I mean,
It was
people
three of
around
them.
here, KCQ and some of the other ones that are local that you could actually get in, you might wanna rethink that one.
Yeah, Joe, 97.3 is what we normally do, and so they've reached out. Moose just reached out yesterday. I don't have any pricing from them yet, but there's 3 ladies on the DEA who are country.
Well, I'm okay with the Moose, I'm just saying, you know.
They-
A lot of people can't get that in.
One of them in their business, that's all they play, and I think that's why she said it.
Okay.
So another task to, hey, let's reach out to
I
the Moose.
like my country music, I like the Moose, but it's just like a lot of times people don't listen to that because it's not local.
I hear you.
Just saying.
She's saying it is local.
Yes.
Well, it is what it isn't.
It's in Saginaw.
Well, is it, or don't they go out of Mount Pleasant or Claire or something? Is that where
To
they advertise their
Waskes.
farm?
Not anymore. They're in with WSGW.
No, I've been, yeah, okay. They off Tibbetawasi or whatever over there, okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the Downtown Development Authority minutes of the September 8th, 2023 meeting.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No planning commission?
We're back at it next week, gonna look at code ordinances now, instead of zoning. Could be another 2-3 years of fun, but it's something that has to be done, you know, Mark brought up a good point with these new garbage carts. You know, our old ordinances don't really define what you need to do and how soon you need to get them off the road and where to put them, and so an update's always good. I think the last time was 2017, so things have changed, you know, there's still some, you know, grass ordinance we need to look at.
Sounds exciting.
It's exhilarating. We were trying to work on a more fiscally responsible way to do it, whether row engineering zooms into these meetings rather than comes up every time, or we do 2 big ordinances at a time, so that, you know, have a couple months to discuss, have the public hearing on, and move forward, so that we're not paying for them to drive back and forth.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, so I was supposed to meet with Jason last week, and he was supposed to be in Chesaning, and the meeting got moved and bailed, so we're trying to set it up for next week, but that's the next thing to tackle with planning. Finish the RRC certification, so hopefully we can get RRC funds, redevelopment ready community, from the state of Michigan, MEDC, to pay for all of Rose's costs, so that's my goal, and finishing that class was to get them to pay up to $20,000 for all of this code stuff.
Oh, okay.
Parks and Recreation Committee, August 16th, 2023.
In reference to signs for the speed in the parks, would it be better just to put speed bumps to slow people down for sure? I mean, signs aren't really
Yeah,
gonna slow people down.
I thought about that too.
We-
The sign's not gonna do anything.
No, we discussed that there were
were.
speed bumps in the past, they took them out.
Yeah, they did.
So,
They
the
didn't
Parks
work.
Committee didn't think that was the
Well, how do you,
viable option.
why do you slow people down in there? I mean, there is a lot of kids that run around and they're little kids or whatever. Come up with a solution because, like I said, people playing on their phones, they gotta look at the damn sign.
Right.
Speed bumps, I think is a good idea. But if you got them in, you took them out, there must have been a reason you took them out, so I don't wanna pay for it again.
Do you know what year they took them out by chance?
I have no idea.
It's been a while ago, but they didn't work and people just hit them hard and
It's kinda hard
There's
on
gotta
the
be a
lawns, too.
rumble strip, something, I don't know, I'm just saying.
So, yeah, Mitch is, and Spicer are working on adding parking, maybe part of that project, we look into something like that.
Parking meters?
Not parking meters, but like adding those as we expand parking down towards the ball fields. Maybe that's a solution.
If you go into, one of the ball field parks in Saginaw, it's not just your normal speed bump, it's like a hill that you gotta go over, and if you go over that at a fast speed, you're gonna tear your car up. So it's not just your normal 6-inch speed bump, it's an actual hump. and
Probably
if-
why they took them out.
Yeah.
Those ones out in
Thinking
Saginaw,
too.
like that, I remember going to the ballpark for practice with my son and thinking, man, if I didn't see these things, it'd tear my car right up.
Well,
We used to have speed bumps in
yeah,
the park.
so we're just talking about it.
yeah.
There's gotta be a solution, I mean, I don't really see people going that fast down there, but I'm not down there as much as you guys are, so I think people are kinda cautious, I don't think, I don't think they go down there tearing it up, I don't know if it's really that much of an issue or not, but something to be looked at.
We have had one complaint, and it was somebody going back to the far back, came in there pretty fast. We actually found out who it was and talked to him, but it's one of those things where if we don't see it personally, we can't really do much about it, just except for talk to them. But we have had one complaint, and it was going back to the disc golf parking lot. It must've been run late or something. Had to make their tee, was it, would it be a tee time? Or a disc time, what would you call that?
What do you call that?
The basketball court, we missed the boat on a couple of,
Yeah, I went on Facebook Marketplace and went in a second. They were the kind that, glass backboard, but the kind you can lower, I don't know how long they went around, people would have been dunking on
On
them pretty
the-
fast, but.
In our parks plan though, do we have a plan for resurfacing those courts or leveling those courts?
Yep.
I mean, we should put money into that before we even think about putting new basketball hoops up.
Yeah.
yeah, that whole, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
it's garbage
we've
right now.
discussed it before.
Yeah, I was hoping kind of with this, like some of the road construction, if they had leftover asphalt as they often do, that, hey, what do you think about? And kind of add like a little special surprise at the end, but, we'll see. It's in the plan for sure.
Why are we replacing the diamond dust? I thought we just did that.
That was on field one,
I thought that was two that we did, moving the infield, I thought there was two that we replaced.
one, the
Chris
first
Anya.
field on the right, the
I
softball
thought there was
field.
two of them that they did, cause
Oh, he was complaining in the last meeting, so
like, didn't we just do it? Somebody, one of you guys,
we did
did you
one.
go get
They just
the
did
diamond
that.
dust for them? Somebody did.
What, it was field one or they do all?
It was field.
It was field one. Remember what
Yeah,
it
we
was.
went, they bought it and we hauled it for them.
Looking at down here, like, why are we doing this again?
That's why I mentioned in the minutes that it was item number 5, not number 2.
I'll make a motion to accept the Parks and Recreation Committee minutes for August 16th, 2023.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Communications.
Nothing pertinent, kinda mentioned the Relief Michigan tree planting. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Hometown Days is coming up. We do have, I think, 4 food trucks already signed up for that. They requested more picnic tables, people wanted more seating. I know that the library's putting a craft show kinda together in the library. So they're doing a lamppost fundraiser for the elementary school teachers to buy supplies. It's $20 for a lamppost to decorate. And there's supposed to be more vendors than last year. There's food trucks, DJ vendors. There's a magic show at 1, 11 to 3 at the library. There's a book and bake sale. This is all October 1, Sunday, 11 to 3, downtown St. Charles. Last year they did have some classic cars on the side road. They're looking at making it more of a big deal, whether it's classic tractors. I know Cornfords have some that they wanted to bring, and we'll see what we can do. But it's a lot of work. We were talking to Karen Wood about some of the car shows in the days of yore, and it's a lot of work. And I asked her if she wanted to step up the plate again. She said no thanks.
Yeah, I asked her
Yeah, but
last year too.
we'll figure out somebody in a way to get this done, coincide with it, and bring more people in.
Payment of claims.
What is Wex Bank? Maybe I asked this before. What is Wex Bank?
That's our gas
The
and
fuel,
oil
but I'm just saying, this,
for the police
Bank.
car. Oh, I
I
don't know.
don't, I mean, it's,
It's like it's the gas card.
so this, yeah, okay, but you, just for fuel though, right?
Yep.
Okay. Another one there too. Metered water, 20 grand. $4 grand for a expense report, $4,300.
That's for the audit.
Yep, Watkins Ross.
Yep.
And, of course, we look at what we spent the last 3 months, it's over $1.5 million. $750,000 2 months ago, over. $482,000 over $482,000 last month, and $194,200, there's a difference of $288,515, which is a lot of money. You're talking $1.5 million in 3 months. It's just really hard to, people say, hey, we need this, we need that, when you look at that and go, how the hell are we paying for all that?
Yeah, so 250,000 of that was for the water project. That's our part towards the category B grant. 200,000 of that is the playscape in the park. 54,000 of that is the kayak launch. 120,000 of that is the water tower. So 3 of those are DDA projects. So they're not technically village dollars. They're state authorized tax increment financing dollars, but yeah, it's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Yeah, I just think when you're looking at some of the stuff ahead of us here, new car, we just got a vehicle, and look at this other thing, it's like, oh my, it's just like, I know nothing's cheap anymore, but it's just like, it's gotta slow down sometime.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills. Month of September, the amount of $97,396.40.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? New business. Item A, police vehicle. Fiscal year 24-25.
The one that's in your packet was originally it's for the 23 Tahoe, which says it's 57,000. We got a separate one that was sent to me last minute. And this is just based off of, for this Tahoe, it would be 56. And that's from this year's build for Tidwassee Township. The dealership at Burt Washington or Ben that I've been dealing with expects the Tahoe to go up more. They're in high demand, that's what everybody wants right now. So it's gonna cost more money, and the incentives that they give for the federal vehicles, the government pricing vehicles, the incentives are gonna go down, they're gonna take them away because there's in such a high demand of these vehicles. GM's just gonna make their money off them that way. So, we priced out a 1,500 pickup truck as well, which they have those, but they're not as common. But for small village municipalities that don't do a lot of chasing and stuff like that, it's more practical in terms of, instead of getting an expensive Tahoe. So we did price that, and that came in about $3,000 cheaper for that. And again, that's what he's just basing the pricing on, that's what he's seeing from GM, there's nothing concrete yet. But the one thing that really is hard about these vehicles is they only build them a certain time of the year, and you have to order them through a certain month. If you don't get your order in that month, then you have to wait till the following year. So if we don't get an order for it in this month, then we don't get one until we have to order them next September and try it for next year. It takes a whole year to get them. It's the way that the companies are doing their vehicles now, because fleet vehicles don't bring in the top dollar like everything else does. And now that the strike's coming on, it's gonna put even more harder, to get vehicles, so.
You said we was going on straight.
Tomorrow night?
You're going.
Yeah, I think so.
Something's gonna happen. But, the one, we've got the one Crown Vic, that I talked to Ben about, and he says to get a concrete estimate on a trade-in value, you'd have to see it. But he said base it off the NADA price and just take the low end of it, just so they're safe, you're not giving the high end. So we feel that about $2,000, and then the Taurus, it's actually being driven every day right now. That one is, what's the mileage on it, do you know?
70,000.
70,000. But I tried to get in it the other day to move it, I about killed myself smacking my head on the door frame, it's just, for my size, it doesn't fit. But it's an SRO vehicle, but that trade-in value was about 9,000, so we're looking at about 11,000 trade-in value on them two vehicles, which will bring that price down into the 40s
Why
probably.
would you get a Taurus if you know the big guys can't?
Oh, we're not getting it, that's what we have here,
Why would
that's
you
what we're
think
getting rid
about
of.
that? I would, yeah.
Yeah, that's what was here,
Crazy.
if it was mine, I would never bought them, no. But, so we have the older Explorer, I would change that to the SRO vehicle, since we have a full-time one now, which we'll talk about that later. And then we will have the newer Explorer and the new vehicle we have here, which would make us set for several years now in vehicles.
Yes, I was just gonna ask you now, how long we asking for, they're gonna go, hey, we need another car?
Well, with that new Explorer, I'm still iffy about that one. That hybrid thing, I don't know. It's different. When I took it to dealership last month for the check engine light, you weren't here for that. I had taken it for a check engine light, and they had 3 of the township ones in there, and they've had them in there under revolving doors with those vehicles. It's that hybrid system. It's just not working out well. Again, it was here before I got here, so I can't say nothing about that. But we have it, so I'm stuck with it now.
I'll
But
get you an electric one.
it is part electric though. Half the time it's not electric when you're sitting there. I mean, that's the one good part about it. You sit on the side of the road and it's not burning gas because it switches over to electric, but it's that constant back and forth change that I'm like, man, that system is just gonna, it's gonna falter all that up and down spots. But the one aspect that I looked at in terms of the pickup truck over Tahoe is we do have the wetlands, we do have a lot of hunting properties, and I haven't experienced it yet because it's my first year here, but I have heard about a lot of calls that come out on the wetlands, in the woods, deer hunters falling out.
I
We
already
would have to
said
go
that.
there.
I said that is such a good idea, because then, like, a lot of times, like, Don's even drove some of the old vehicles we've had here, get a pickup truck, then they can multitask it.
Yep.
Flip it to the DPW or whatever, we could still use and.
Yep, or we can, if I have to call, I can actually go out and do a field and not get stuck.
And we're a rural
Um,
community, it
yeah.
makes more sense to have.
The only downfall
I
for the
see it all
pickup-
over, I drive truck and I see it all over, except for here.
Richland Township has a pickup truck and it's really nice.
Yeah.
I like the way it looks, the way that's set up.
Yeah.
The only downfall is that the turning radius isn't as much, but we have kind of
What?
wide, turning radius
Oh.
isn't as good. But, we can deal with, that's something I can get used to. So if, it's just a matter of which one that you would wanna go to, if we were gonna go with one this year, I'd have to give it back to them within the next week of what we want.
I would just have to add it into, as part of next year's budget. So fiscal year 24-25 as part of the capital improvement plan. Obviously, this wasn't on our capital improvement plan, so if this is something you guys go with, I will have to work it in as we move forward.
I'm all for the pickup truck thing, I said that before, and I think it's, like I said, multi-use, I think it's a great idea, but, yeah.
And there is I think it's USDA grants for vehicles, it's a matter if we're gonna qualify for it or not.
We applied for the congressional appropriation USDA as far as the water project I threw the truck in there on top of it. They, 40,000, 1 million.
Yeah.
I'll take the billion.
Okay. But it's out there, but yeah, so I guess it's just a matter of what you guys wanna decide on it, if you want to decide on it, to get one, just so we know which one to get. And then, the color option, black or white, dark blue, whichever one. I mean, preference for me is black, but we have white now, so it's, you know, that's your guys' decision, you know, unless you wanna leave it on my shoulders, but. I mean, if it was my, if I had a choice, we'll put it this way, if I had a choice, I would have a black pickup truck.
What about the decals? Are they gonna be the hidden kind that blend in? with
It'll
black?
be, I'll probably keep it somewhat similar to what the new Explorer is, cause the whole Bad River on there, it's a symbol for the town, so I'd keep that on there, and the letters might be gray instead of a white. You know, but it would still be reflective, so at night it would shine off, but the blue would still be bright on it to see. Yeah, it'd be visible.
Good with that. I'm all for it.
Chief, have you, checked in, like, with other dealerships to see if the prices are?
It's government pricing, it's all the same. Doesn't matter what dealership you go to, it's all a government rate pricing that you get. Same with tires, it's just a matter of what tire you wanna get, the pricing's all gonna be the same, cause it's rated for cause we're the municipality, so it's all the same government rate. And it's a matter of if you wanna go Ford or Chevy. The hybrid? The truck, I think, is a hybrid, doesn't it say that it's on there? I don't, the truck one?
I don't think I would be all for getting another hybrid if we're having problems with.
I don't think it's it's not a true hybrid like that. When this one is, with the truck, it'd be one of those where like if you stop at a stop sign, it shuts off, which is typical as everyone.
Yeah,
It's not like ones where it's running on electrical and then it switches over halfway through and it's either, you know, it only does it when you stop at the stop sign.
Yeah, I just had one where.
But that's the
buddy-
standard thing now.
Motor would like do half cylinder and them things are junk.
No, it's a 5.3 V8 is what
Yeah.
comes in it.
Yeah, that, no, trying to save gas and, piece of crap.
It's just
No.
cutting off when you stop.
Yeah, that's all it does now, which is, that's typical of a lot of brand new vehicles now, cause the emissions factors I'm trying to save in the world, so. But that's it? You got any questions about either one of the vehicles?
I guess we'll be talking more about it, so.
Well, we got, if we're gonna go with it, we gotta have a decision now, cause I gotta have it to the dealership by this month, it won't.
There's the money,
next-
man, right there.
It's gotta be voted.
We'd have to work with.
We'd have to
It's
budget
gonna be
for it. If you guys approve it, we'll have to figure out how to budget for it, and that's where I come in.
I'm for it.
So make a
Roll
motion.
call.
Make a motion.
Can we wait
Make a
another
motion
year
to approve it.
before they?
Well, we could, but then the downfall with that is the pricing could be higher next year. We don't know. Every year, the prices has gone up on vehicles regardless, no matter
Saying
what
once
you're
the
buying,
strike
so.
hits, the prices are gonna spike now, that's what they're
Yeah,
saying, so.
and then, and also, the price of the new vehicles going up and the price of our used ones are gonna go down.
Yep.
So you're gonna, you know, could we wait? Yeah, we got them here, but the pricing is gonna be higher, we're gonna spend more, and we're gonna get less back on what we have.
So with this so-called possible strike, will that, if we okay it tonight, with this strike going on,
Spike
can
in
the
2
price
days.
go up anyway?
No, we gotta, that's why, it's, the order's just this month only,
So you got it already locked in, is what you're trying to tell us?
Once you get the order submitted, yeah, it's government pricing, it's not gonna change. The pricing of the, personal vehicles will go up during the strike, but the government pricing won't until after, that's set every year.
I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I'm all for it.
I'm going by what he's telling me, I mean, I don't know much
Just the
about
ones
it,
that
but
last and you ain't back here in
That's all
another
that guy
year or
does
two
with
going,
fleet
oh, we got
vehicles, so.
70,000 on, we need another vehicle. No, so, you know, so.
the older Explorer has 90 now on it, and typical 100,000 on a police vehicle, it's been run through the ditches a couple times, it's just the way they are on those vehicles sometimes, you know.
There's somebody right there, just worked for the police. How many miles you guys used to put on the vehicles before you
We
traded
used to
them in?
have- Our cars used to have over 100,000 on them before we got rid of them.
That was back when they were made strong. The Tahoe they had in Millington, I had 255,000 on it, but it was an
We had ones that
11.
used to drive them down on the
If
river.
it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you reamp it still a good car? I just don't get that. Just because it's got the miles on it. If it runs good, run it.
Yeah,
You have a problem with it, trade it in, but other than that.
yeah.
there's no sense
Well,
just
Crown
turning it
Vic's
in
just
because you
sitting
want
in
a
his
new
parking
vehicle.
lot.
I mean, I want a new vehicle every year too.
Yeah.
I can't have it, so.
Crown Vic's sitting in his parking lot, and the,
Clean one owner.
yeah, And the Taurus, like we said, it's, you know, all it has in it is a radio, it's in a light bar, or it doesn't even have a radio, it's just a light bar. It doesn't have much for police vehicle presence, but just, yeah,
Make a great village president taxi.
yeah.
It's getting cold out.
Well,
but
you could use it for the parades too, and pull on a float. You can put people in the bed of the truck for the
Yeah.
parades, and you
No,
can use it for
right
that as
back.
well. There's a bunch of uses for it.
I think so
Come
too,
on,
I think it's a multitask with it, I think it's a great idea.
That would be funny in the parade here in the back way.
Like Boss Hog.
Well, we can set you in the back seat and let you roll the window down.
You throw candy.
You gotta roll it down for me.
We'll turn on the child lock off for you.
Did you make a motion?
I did. Second.
Roll call vote.
Roll call.
Jamie Kendall is absent. Darcy McSwain is absent. Paul Jenderski,
Yes.
Ed Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris.
I'll say yes, I'm not 100% on this, but.
And Lois Tiley's absent.
Go, Chief, get us a locked in price now.
Hold him to it.
We'll get it.
Especially on the trade-in value.
Yeah, I gotta take him up there to get that one, 'cause
Police Academy sponsorship agreement.
So this is kind of a new policy. We talked about the lack of police and hiring, and everybody's hurting due to demonizing the entire profession. All the major players, the big cities are hosting people to go to academy. So in order to try to recruit, I think we should try. There's gotta be a small town kid somewhere that wants some local policing. Maybe doesn't wanna go to the city.
Yeah, I'm real good with it, but you know what I'm hearing? These people are getting sent to these academies, and then, okay, Village of St. Charles says, hey, we'll pay $50,000 a year. Oh, okay, and then, since he's already been to the academy, he's already certified. Let's say Detroit says, hey, come on down here, we'll pay you 75. Now we just lost him, we just paid for him to go through the academy.
So this is the reimbursement agreement that sets how many years they have to stay with us after they get out of the academy.
I'm good with that.
So it's a policy that kind of mirroring the big cities, but making it more available to us. And then part of this is the MCOLS does have a reimbursement grant. So if we send somebody to the academy, they get through, we can pay them a wage, so they're vested now. They're getting the wage from us, they sign the contract, and then it's 100% reimbursable through MCOLS, up to, I think, $24,000. So I think this is a policy that we should have, so that we can continue to add on. So if you wanna read through it and see if there's something you agree with, it's not an ordinance, it's not a law, it's just a policy or agreement, that I'd like to start using to try to get people here.
You're not hearing the same thing, that there's hard times in other places, and, yeah, they're having a hard time recruiting people, so I mean, if you could lock them in.
How many
somebody's
years?
interested in it.
I'm thinking 3, minimum,
At least 2.
at least 2 for sure, I'm gonna shoot for 3.
I would go
Um,
with
I would've said 5.
People that we've talked to that are looking don't seem to have a problem with 3 to 5. But again, they gotta get through academy too, so, we're taking a chance,
How
but
hard is
again,
that, Kathy?
Hmm?
How hard is it, the academy?
The academy?
Yeah, the hard?
it's changed quite a bit since she went through. No, not to knock you, but it has changed quite a bit.
I'm gonna turn this mic off.
That was way back in 1990, Paul,
Yeah.
and I've been
Oh my God.
retired for 11 years.
Yeah, it's
so
changed quite a bit,
things have
so.
changed. I know the length of it has.
Yeah, it's 18 weeks now.
I went
And then when you
11
get out,
years.
then you have to do 4 to 6 months of road patrol training. Based, depending on what the FTO thinks after the 4 months, if you get an extra 2 months, or, it's a lot of training involved in it. But in an aspect also with that is if, the recruit doesn't make it through the academy, we're still not on the hook for anything but the wages that we've already paid them. Because they're a full-time employee, the MCO states that in order for us to get reimbursed, we have to have them as a full-time employee, which means we have to pay him through the academy. But doesn't state what we have to pay him, so we would pay him
So how are you guaranteeing that this person is gonna go through the academy and make it? I mean,
You're not.
They're not.
Got
You're
an
not.
interview,
You can't.
maybe
But when I
use a
put it in
better
perspective,
judgment,
Paul-
saying, well, he looks like a better candidate than him.
To put it in
You don't
perspective,
know.
I called the guy that runs the Delta Academy and asked him if they had what his class looked like for this coming up. He says, well, everybody but 2 are already sponsored. If you wanna get somebody to come work for you, you better catch them before they get sponsored. Cause that's the only way people are finding right now is sponsoring people through the academy. It's just so slim.
That's
So
my-
you're looking to sponsor someone right away then?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, absolutely. The sooner the better.
Is this academy already going on, or is this gonna
Yep.
be a new one?
Yep.
Okay.
So is that what this was, the Tahoe, all the goodies, paint and all the whatever, is that what all this is?
That was the Tahoe one that he had on his list.
Just looking at that going, what the heck is that?
Yeah, that was what he printed out from a previous thing.
No, I see, this is what I'm talking about. That's great.
So we're just looking to adopt this reimbursement agreement.
Yep.
I think,
And, you know, you don't have to pay them a ton since you're already paying for their schooling. They're pretty grateful. So I mean, even between 10 and 12 bucks an hour, that is reimbursable. It's so worth it. So you hit your max amount of 24K is what our goal is.
I think with our department being a smaller department, you know, you don't have room for like, you know, you don't have detective division that maybe they could go into later on, or, you know what I'm saying? I think we should leave it at 3.
3 years.
3 years.
And I put in here, if you see on terms point 3, the training candidate agrees to complete the police academy program. If they fail to complete the program for any reason beyond their control, whether due to failure to achieve the passing grade or any other reason, all refunds, if any, received from the police academy in return of books, uniforms, or supplies will be the property of the village of St. Charles, and the training candidate agrees to fully reimburse the village for any funds not refunded.
I just think a lot of people will be, you'll scare them away if you say, we're locking you in for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years is kind of a long
No, I
time. A lot of
agree.
stuff can happen in 5 years. 2 to 3 years, I'm thinking that's good, but yeah.
I agree with, yeah.
Yeah.
I read through this and I like the way it's printed. I would like to make a motion that we accept this and with the 3-year period that they have to be with us.
Support.
All those in favor?
Okay.
All right.
Those opposed? Charitable gaming licenses for Athletic Association, Resolution 23-13.
So the Athletic Association is raffling off a side-by-side in March. It was at the football game tonight. Tickets are $20. I encourage you to buy one. The winning ticket's already in my office, but I encourage you to buy it anyway to support
Well,
the
I saw
program.
yours out. I took the winning one.
No, I
gave
saw
it
the
to you.
number. I already won, but it's fine. But in order to do so through the state, they have to have this passed based on the local ordinances, the governing body. So they're selling tickets, so we should probably approve
I was
this.
gonna say,
Yeah.
we're selling tickets, we have to sign this shit?
They're hoping to clear over $20,000 towards the Athletic
I need
Association.
to remember
Are they
that.
hoping we're voting yes, right?
They certainly do, since I bought the tickets prior.
Wow, I'm good with it. Anything that-
Oh, it's a cool side by side. It's up there.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I can make more friends right now.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2313.
You'll support it?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Roll
Opposed?
call.
Yeah,
Oh, roll call.
for money.
Jamie Kendall, absent. Darcy McSwain, absent. Paul Jenderski,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Lois Tiley is absent.
Resolution 23-14, supporting safe routes to school grant applications.
So the school is finally back on board with their non-infrastructure side of the grant. So we're gonna move forward with our infrastructure side of the grant. So this is a resolution towards our application, which we have to fulfill and submit to the state. Going after $300,000 per school, $900,000 for new sidewalks, roads, crosswalks, Walnut, Maple, and possibly part of Ithaca. This is a federal grant.
This is beyond what we were already talking about with the sidewalks, or is this part of it?
They increased from 260,000 per school to 300,000. So we're kind of going after every bit, and they even said if your project's more than 900,000, apply anyway. There's always a little bit left over. So if we get $1 million from the federal
I
grant,
thought we already crossed that bridge with the sidewalks.
we were supposed to apply in July due to some letdowns that we're gonna apply next year now. But it's an ongoing application process. The schools can qualify for $15,000 per school for programming or like events. So hopefully they'll complete their side. I know they have a survey out as of Bulldog Days. So that will help their side of the things, but this is to take care of our side. Just letting, again, part of the application that we are working towards this with the Michigan Health Improvement Alliance, the Saginaw County ISD, and that we would like to improve Walnut, Maple, and part of Ithaca sidewalks, roads.
When's your deadline?
It's ongoing now. It was supposed to be in by July for this year, so now we're gonna start in October, and January is what our goal.
Okay.
Again, we did apply for $250,000 additional in Category B funds that we received for the water project, but we're hoping to get it 2 years in a row. Not likely, but again, that would be $500,000 more on top of the potentially $1 million that we've already received. We did receive the mini grant, which is $10,000 just to start our application. Once you get the mini grant, you start building towards the major grant, so.
So what's actually been the holdup to get this rolling?
There's a lot of players at the school who have parts that they are not delegating or don't want to relinquish, and therefore things have been held up a little bit. And then they started over. So we had halfway done, ready to apply in July, and then they started over last month when we met and went over the same exact thing we talked about earlier this year. That they didn't even have, so I supplied them to the non-infrastructure side of all the head.
So were you able to hold their hand through it a little bit? And get them
Through the ISD,
semi-figured out?
through Michigan Improvement Alliance and the village, we are all now on the same page, and we're looking forward to trying to get these grant dollars.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 23-14.
I'll support.
All those in favor? Those opposed? Foam party in the park.
What the heck is that?
Not the kind you're thinking of, Tyler. No, so I went to the youngest person here. Nanette from the library is looking to set up their next year's programming. So for kids, they'd like to have a 20 by 20 area in Coal Miners Park to have a foam party as one of their events. So Parks Committee approved it, kind of gave some suggestions, and Nanette reached out this week to see if it's approved. I said I want to take it to council.
Who's funding this?
Pardon?
Who's funding this?
The library.
Okay.
So it's a non-toxic biodegradable foam. Grass may get worn, running, sliding foam, but nothing else would be harmed during the foam party, maybe some kids.
What is it? Is it like a big cage that they dump foam in?
I believe so, yes.
It ain't a little cage.
Yes. But I got more jokes about it.
But it's like a 20 by 20 foot. They're looking for just a really small.
Yep, just an area, so they'll do some reading and some events to try to get kids in the summer months to come to the library and then bring them up to the park. They do it,
Yeah.
I think, once or twice a week.
Okay.
They rotate parks and have different events to keep kids engaged.
Any liability on our part if the kid slips and breaks their leg? Or
The
anything
library
like that?
will make sure they have the proper liability insurance coverage for the event, so, no liability on us.
Good.
You a player?
Clear your schedules.
Excellent.
I was thinking maybe it was gonna be like a slip and
Calendar?
slide kind of thing.
Could be,
I've been waiting for something like this.
but I figured I better have it approved officially.
I'll make a motion, we allow the foam party in the park.
It just sounds.
That can former party is good.
Hmm.
second, please?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Department reports, DPW,
On the water end of it, we pumped 4.5 million gallons of water, that's about 148,000 gallons a day. We did complete our lead and copper sampling, none of the samples were above the maximum contaminant level. We did read meters, and we also had a leak out on M52 to repair, get that taken care of. Sewer, we pumped 6.3 million gallons, about 203,000 a day. We isolated pond number 3 to prepare to dump the lagoon this coming month. Routine mowing. Streets is routine sweeping, brush pickup, patching, mowing, and we did repair the Pine Street storm sewer pump station. There was an issue with some of the piping there. In the park, we did repair the ship damage that was done to it. We do plan on staining it, but the wood was so wet it has to dry, so. And the new signs are installed at the kayak launch. And the water project, I think, we're progressing pretty well, I think, so. Sometimes it doesn't look like much, but it's a large project, and there's been a lot of unique things, but it's moving along.
I think it needs a Viking funeral. I always wanna know, like, on that, in the ship in the park, cause, you know, I take my daughter to the park all the time now. And it's like, I would like to know how many kids actually play on that ship, other than to graffiti it, or screw around inside of it. You know, it's like, we just need to torch it and get Viking funeral that thing.
It's showing its age. I mean, they didn't help.
I mean, if the kids would play with it, but it's like, I always see like the kids are screwing around or doing something, or carving in it, or writing something on it. It's like, man.
It seems to be a place for an older age than it was designed for.
Right, right.
This water leak on 52. Isn't there a patch on 52 there by the?
We do, well, that was a different leak. We do have to do a patch coming up.
Oh, okay, cause you had talked about it.
Yeah, we plan on doing it when they do the paving up here for the water main project.
Okay.
The thing about that is, the patch isn't a big deal, but we have to have a lane closure on M52, and that's probably gonna cost more than the patch.
It's so expensive, so there've been other companies doing it, and this big company out of Lansing's been buying them up and jacking up the price.
Really?
So if you're looking for a new business to open or start,
Sign business.
lane closure,
Even like for the
they're gonna give you a lot of money to get out.
No, to bring the signs out, there'd have to be like a light to close a lane, there'd have to be 2 stoplights, cause you're closing a lane, and that's.
Thought you had talked about doing it, fixing it last year, that's why I was
We
wondering.
did have a quote, through
Jaeger.
Jaeger
but
Asphalt, and then they,
Backed out of it because the guy that did it, apparently his boss, he didn't obviously know what all it entailed, so.
and so we bought some time through MDOT, cause obviously being a MDOT road, they're pretty ticked off. And they have certain specifications for their roads compared to the local roads, and how deep it has to be, and quality and whatnot.
You actually have to mill the road, pave it, it has to be let set, it'll probably be a half a day or a day project.
For this, that little
For that,
piece.
yeah.
But the traffic control will cost more than the patch. That is planned to be done when we do some of the paving on the water project. We've been in contact with the company and they said they can get it done, so. But this last week was further off the road and we won't, but didn't involve, anything.
No. Police department report,
Slight lower in calls this month, just I don't think it was anything in particular, just didn't have as many as usual. Same with the self-initiated activity, that's all the property checks. See, stops are 28, citations are 3. Schedule, there's still some blank spots, but we're working on filling it in. The part-timer, Allison, that we have, she was not available after the first week in August, cause she had other stuff going on, so it wasn't able to utilize her on the weekend. And now, this month marked the end of all the prior vacations I had set up with my last department that I already had, so. I already started working, I worked one night shift to cover the first football game, cause Ethan was gone and we didn't have anybody to work it, we needed to have somebody on there, so I came back after my day shift. But in terms of coverage, we are kinda looking on the way up. Michelle, you wanna stand up? This is, SRO Michelle, our new employee that we hired. She's been in the school starting as, come on, it's okay, it's alright. We put a post out there, last meeting, I told you I had 3 posts out there, one for a full-timer, one for an SRO, one for a part-time position. She responded interested in either one of the full-time spots, we brought her in for an interview. And during the discussion, I just kinda knew right away that she was built for an SRO that we needed at the school. So she spent a lot of her time in there, doing a really good job already, kids are already coming involved in her, already come to her, asking her to come sit down and have lunch with her. So so far it's been a perfect fit. She's currently going through training with Officer Thompson over here that's doing the FDO training, so it's 50-50, I'm trying to do it, where she's in the school for 50% of the week, and then the rest of the time she's on the road, but some weeks I'm doing more on the road than less in the school, and I'm covering the school because I want that road stuff done, so that way, if we do need her to cover a weekend, then she's available to cover it, but we can't put her on these open shifts until she gets through her training. So we're trying to do that as well. She had 3 other months training with another department. Before that didn't work out for whatever reason, but she's here, so she's already got some experience on the road, so she knows how to do a lot of the things, so it's going a little bit faster to begin with. The main thing that we're looking at now is just getting her out on the weekends and getting her with Thompson here and getting her on certain calls. We want to see how she's going to react to it, so we know that she can handle those calls that we deal with. So that's one thing that's going to help with the schedule. Right now, the school, I've heard nothing but good things coming from her work there right now. And then we also, in talking about the sponsorship program, Curtis, this is somebody in the academy we're looking at sponsoring. This is Curtis, he's currently in the academy right now. I brought him in here today so we can meet you all. What is it, 3rd week, going in 2nd week, what is that?
4th week.
4th week, okay, so he's got 4 weeks into it already. Again, it's another one that came in for an interview with us and wanted full-time employment, and we had this, Hart and I talked about this sponsorship program, and like I said, there was 2 people left on this current academy. We wanted to get somebody in right away. And I called and I said, well, give me their number so I can get him an interview. And he's the first one that came in. And I'm looking forward to him coming here. I think he's gonna do very well for us. He's rode with Thompson a couple nights. It's just a ride-along program. And Thompson says, just inexperienced, but we can get him there. That's all it's gonna take, so. Probably by the end of, December is when his graduation date is, so then we'll have, like I said, the 4 to 6 months training to go through. But pretty soon we're gonna have what I've talked about with Thompson, and he's kind of agreed is what we would do with that, with those 2 night shift guys is do a 12-hour rotation, so that way every weekend is covered. Every weekend night is covered then. It'd be from 3 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning, those times would be covered. We would not have any openings anymore, and then when she's done with the school in the summertime, she would be a filler in certain spots, what we need to, cover her vacations, if we wanna take a vacation, she would fill in those spots, or be an extra person on nights, or to help out on certain nights, it'd be one of those things where, the SRO position is a new avenue for me, I never had one. So in terms of the summertime, when it comes, that whole scheduling is gonna be a work in progress, cause I haven't had to deal with that extra person and what to do with them after that fact, but we'll figure it out.
Or the school, how many hours you getting out of the school?
It's right now, cause the way the salary's paid is 50-50, so it's.
You're saying you're taking her out on the road, but who's covering the other part of the shift?
I am.
Okay, at the school?
But she's there for a shift, she's there all day. I'm not taking her out
I thought
halfway
you were
through.
doing half and then pulling her
It's a
out.
day here, 2 to 3 days a week in the school, and then 2 to 3 days on the road, depending on the schedule of Ethan and what he's got. And then those days when she's not in the school, then I'm not there all the time, but I actually go through a little bit more often than a normal, just to cover that presence.
You gonna be at the football games too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Alright, cool. events.
Yep.
Cool.
Mhm.
I
So then
remember.
maybe next year we could do what was suggested earlier today about maybe some time on the rail trail?
Yeah, if we get to that point, that's the whole part of it, yeah. Once we get the employers in here, that we got people that can utilize more time, then yeah, we can get to that point.
Yeah, it's all about putting the pieces together in the puzzle. And passing this tonight is a huge part of it.
And they're both young, so we got a lot of time with them.
Hopefully.
Yeah, well, it's,
Hopefully
again,
they'll
and
stay.
that too, and I go
I
back
just
to
think
when
hopefully
I,
they'll stay with us.
well, and I go back to when I started too, you know, it comes down to the place that they're at and how they're treated when they're there, you know. I
That's what
mean,
works out, I mean, we've just had two go away,
Yeah.
so it's like, we want somebody that's gonna fit in and stay and
Mhm.
become.
I've always said St. Charles is a stepping stone, either for the young ones coming in, you know, they can get some experience and then decide, hey, maybe I wanna work for a bigger department so I can do homicide or drugs or.
And that's something we can't
And then
compete
there's
with. but-
others that, like retirees that come here and just to keep their certifications, so.
Mhm.
We can't knock a man for wanting to do it.
Well, that's why I think there's a big turnover, there always has been, because, for that reason, you know, and you can't blame, especially these young kids, you can't blame them for wanting to,
Nope.
you know.
But you don't, you gotta start somewhere, you
Right.
know, at least now we will have people here in the next few years to give us some really big coverage on our town.
Well, and if it works out where we can do that, continue to do the sponsoring at the academy, then we should be okay. putting
That-
other
that
people
money is
on,
good till-
when or if,
2026,
okay.
or until they run out.
Okay, well then, you know, if it continues, so later on, we'll have someone to replace them down the road if they decide to go somewhere else, is my
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, the main thing is getting it going now, and we're getting there.
Doing a great job, Chief, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Welcome, you too.
Love what you're doing for the officer of the week at the elementary, that's really cool.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, it was, it's a,
Officer
but it-
Thompson's a great guy too, so I'm sure you already know that.
he's the one lone standing person that stuck with me.
Well, I had to give you a shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he's being taken care of because of that. You know, we've talked about some things that in the future we will get him into, which, you know, will bring him more responsibility, and with more responsibility comes more money, so. Treat him fairly and treat him what they're worth, they won't leave.
There you go.
So, any questions?
Sure.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome.
I know you gotta get up
Thanks, officers.
Thanks, Curtis. Good to see you, man. Keep working hard.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Thanks, Dennis. Have a good
Keep
night.
working hard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Building inspector, code enforcement report, you got anything?
No Scott today?
No, Scott, he was here earlier today. I was hoping he'd be here.
What are you doing with the Sumber and Wittenberg thing? That is ridiculous, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, I just drove by there, today.
I got pictures of it, I mean, it's actually moving right out from the backyard to the road. It's like, really?
The health department was there earlier today. There's a lot of people with eyes on them
Oh,
and,
everybody's complaining. I got a
agree.
better word,
He's
but yeah.
being watched,
yeah.
he's being watched.
How can you not?
Been watched
No, no,
every,
like-
he's been
Oh, you
watched
gotta
for
watch it
years.
when you drive by
I don't
there.
mean just by the community, I mean, by entities that can,
That is
they can
ridiculous.
do something
I've never
about
seen
it.
these burning stuff back there again today.
Yep, this morning we
I'm
smelled it.
sorry, dude. I got nothing against you guys personally, but it's
We
ridiculous.
sent people over there, he was spoken to, he was irate. It's a huge issue that we are addressing.
If you know he's burning something, call me, cause I got a phone call was it Monday or Tuesday of this week? Somebody came in to the office and said he'd been burning all day and wasn't home, so I went
Burning
over
today, I
there.
went by there today, he was burning
I
stuff.
went over there and it was smoldering, but I took pictures to show that how close stuff is back there, close to his fire, and how
What I was trying to tell him, the
half
fire
the gun
hazard.
his burn pit is,
If that
and
thing
he
catches
wasn't
on
there.
fire,
So
two
that
houses are
was,
gonna go down.
He's organized.
so I took the photos and did a report on it, and I turned it over to Scott, so he's got all that information for it, for the ordinance violation on it, for the, you know, leaving it
That is
unattended fire,
ridiculous,
whatever it may
though.
be. So,
He's burning, I'm being told by a very resourceful person that he's burning at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So if he's burning that early in the morning, late at night, you know, it's probably stuff that's illegal.
He was burning at 5:15 this morning.
Yeah, I've heard that too,
You could smell it when you got into town.
yeah.
As far as West North Street, I don't know where you guys going anywhere with that, but that thing's been on the docket forever too.
West North, which one?
December.
Oh.
West North Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing personal, but yeah, yeah, pretty bad.
Y'all doing up so early in the morning.
Yeah. what do you
Thought I
think?
was the only one up at this, around
That's right.
that time.
Here's one question, I didn't know we had to pay to get a permit to remove a deck, like, really, is that,
Demo?
you gotta get a permit to remove your own deck?
Apparently.
If I want to replace my deck and put a new one in, I have to get a full permit
You gotta
to
get a-
build it and
get a pull permit
pull
to
one
build
to
it.
remove it?
I don't, if
That's
you're
what it says right
replacing an
here,
existing.
demolition, rear deck, $100. I'll do it at 2 o'clock in the morning. There you go.
Or do it before we get coverage all the time.
Burn it. Burn it.
It's building a deck, isn't it? Not removing.
Demo rear deck.
Oh,
Do the demo then
Yeah,
build.
You do have to have a permit to
Oh,
demo.
that one.
Yeah.
If you were to replace an existing structure, I don't believe you need one, but if they're just demoing and not replacing, I think you would need one.
Okay, but while we're on this subject, we've had some other complaints too. The guy's not here, he got COVID. Listen, I respect my elders, and you guys need to come up with a solution, a happy medium. Mr. Boozinger, you know what I'm talking about, where I'm going with this. I was brought up to respect my elders. This guy's lived in this community all his life. And for you to go, oh, here we go again, that was very disrespectful. I've heard you myself. And he told me the other day, he called Scott about the stuff that was happening across the road with them dogs. If they're commercially raising dogs over there, that's a business. It's residential. Why are they allowing them to raise a puppy mill and do a commercial dog business over there in Hampshire? I don't get it. I don't really know that much about it. But when he called Scott, and Scott says, "We don't like it, freaking move," and he hung the phone up on him, that Scott needs to go. If he's gonna be treating our citizens like that, you gotta go. I'm sorry, but that's wrong. That's very wrong. There's a lot more people, just like Mrs. Bailey when she was out here. Closed meeting, she went outside here. Older lady, I mean, she's not even with us anymore. Make her stand outside for 45 minutes. She just had a simple complaint. She ended up having to leave because she couldn't stand out there anymore. That was wrong, you know. And if you can treat the citizens like that, that is just wrong. I mean, I'm sorry, but I respect my elders way more than that, and that was wrong, so. But we got other issues. The blight on Chesaning, I know you guys are real busy. That's still gonna be addressed. I'm not gonna let that go. And as far as the lady, I don't know if you heard about the rail trail deal. Have you heard any more about that? You can't really do nothing about the vegetation down there, but we still wanna clean that up. All the way down to Hewland Road, the old rail trail. Have you even talked to that lady at all? Heard from her?
No, the Saginaw County Parks and Rec is supposed to have a meeting October with the state reps, Chesaning, and then I was gonna join.
Because that is blight in our community. And that's in the village limits, so somebody needs to address that too, because that is bad. There's all sorts of crap in there, there's cats and all sorts of nasties in there. And you can't really do it while you got vegetation, because it's overgrown with poison ivy and vines and stuff so bad. So if we did it in the wintertime, it'd be a lot better. So if we could do it, I mean, it would really make it look a lot better down there. So, I don't know. Say that blight that we were talking about on Chesaning Street, rail trail.
The state-owned property.
It is,
Okay.
it is. We already talked about that, and he flipped it to some other lady, because remember he was gonna sell it to us for $1 or whatever, but yeah, whatever.
It's illegal.
But anyways, yeah, and simple lunch. You said the kayak people were down, I don't really, I live right next door, I don't see a lot of people using that kayak launch. I've seen a few people. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I think it's an okay idea. I just think we could have combined that with like a floating dock or something, so we could have did both. And your removable rocks, do we really need a permit for that? Can we put more rock down there? I think it's a good idea.
I've seen more people fishing off that.
Yeah,
than
exactly,
actually
reading
launching
books or whatever
kayaks.
down there, yeah. I see people driving up there with the kayaks, throwing them in the water, they don't even use the kayak launch. I mean, I've used that boat launch several times, but yeah. I think if there's some really big rocks down there, but I think if we put more rock in there, we'll drop something. I got better ideas, like me and Kathy had talked about the driveway coming around through there. There's only 2 trees right there, if we can move them rails back farther so people could park there, because right now it's not really wide enough to pull a boat, a trailer in there.
That's what Spicer's working on for us.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's very simple, I think, but yeah, don't remove the trees, just move them rails back so we got a room to park. I mean, any overflow could go up top, but yeah, I think they would use it more if you actually put some more rocks in there and gave them some actual parking, so, yeah, something to work on.
Public comment.
Okay, thank you guys. From the county. Yeah, we got a lot going on right now, but we'll keep her at a minimum tonight. As everyone knows, the animal shelter opened up a couple weeks ago off Bay Road, so the other one's now closed up. Our mosquito abatement facility, we're still looking for a location for that. We're having a lot of conflicts over where we're gonna put it. So
Put
actually.
it out here, we got all sorts of mosquitoes.
I've tried. They wanna keep it in the city. I keep getting
They
outvoted.
take the
on that.
mosquitoes with them.
I'd love to see that. You guys got the perfect building outside of town, or in your town, but it's not gonna happen.
I don't even see them kids around anymore.
Well, we got 11 commissioners, 7 are in the city, 4 for the outskirts. We get outvoted on everything.
This is mosquito capital of
Yeah, we
Saginaw
got that
County.
right.
Exactly.
That's our-
Speaking of mosquitoes, I've
That's
been getting a lot of phone
that's our
calls,
city
probably
bird.
you guys have heard, probably a lot of complaints too. I went we had a county meeting last night, my mailbox was just loaded with these little guys. They are complaints to the city and all of them, then my mailbox was about mosquitoes.
Yeah, we're looking for complaints from them.
So after our meeting, or during our meeting last night, the director for mosquito control happened to be there, so I caught up to him and I gave him all. I said, what am I supposed to tell people and do with these? He gave me his card, he said forward everything to him, all the complaints. I'll give you his name, number, so if you guys get any complaints, direct them right his way.
Hartman or Dom, I know, don't you have the little pucks and stuff you can throw in some of the ponds and water, stagnant water? I know,
They used to have them.
Walker had them when he was out.
Used to-
Bryant, the
do they-
little
I don't know if
discs.
they give 'em
They
out.
You
don't
throw
give
in-
them out anymore because of environmental reasons.
You can't put them out anymore?
They don't supply
They
them.
don't supply them anymore.
Mosquitoes are protected now.
What do you do?
Just-
Dynatrap, Spartan thing.
Call that guy and see what he can do for you
Yeah.
guys.
Go to TSC and buy your own spray and.
Yeah, we did that.
That's really about it too, cause like in May and June, when they run them airplanes around, fly them pellets, it was dry, that's what I told them, it made no sense. We spent a bunch of money dropping the pellets, it don't work as long as there's no water around.
You know what? Last year, the mosquitoes weren't really that bad. This year, they weren't bad all summer till the end here, when we got the rain, and now I
Right.
think they're coming back with a vengeance.
And their problem is, one of their excuses, all their drivers went back to college. They use college work, but like I told them, that's not our problem. Taxpayers pay the money.
Yeah.
And in their defense, like, this has been a very unusual September too. It's been very wet, we normally don't have this much water. But like I told them, that's still no excuse. We
Listen,
have a
I'm
serious
not
problem.
around, but how many people in here have actually seen the mosquito people come by fogging their house? I have not seen
Right,
them
they're not
once. I
running.
have not seen them once all
They're
year.
not running.
I have not. I'm not around a lot, but I don't see them at all.
I agree.
I don't.
And that's what I told them, you guys keep wanting more and more money, but we don't see no service.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
is
So
no-
something's
there
gotta
is no
change
service.
with us. 'Cause
There
I
you
have-
go. You just heard it. There is no service. I haven't seen them at all.
I heard a truck months ago and that was it.
And it's bad right now. So why aren't they here? Why are their tax dollars even going to that?
That's why I'm gonna give you guys this guy, the director's name, number,
Bring
call
it.
him and see what kind of.
Put it in the
excuse he
paper,
can
put it
do.
in the Citizen.
That's a problem.
I think Gene knows we're having a
I
serious
mean,
problem.
it honestly is ridiculous. How
It's
we're supposed to-
ridiculous.
how we're
It is.
supposed to
All
get
that money we
people
put
to
into
come
that.
into this
The
town,
rich municipalities
spend
get it.
money,
We
move
don't.
here, when you can't even go out
We
to the
are a
mailbox.
we're gonna
wetland.
give
This
them-
should probably be attacked probably more than any other community. We are wetland. We have to show
Oh,
our
yeah.
flats right here.
There's
It's
no
terrible.
doubt, it's
They
covered
don't
with water
care.
around swamps
They care
there,
about
not
segments.
swamps, whatever.
Low,
but,
low land.
I mean, we're giving a millions of dollars, something's gotta come out of this, but, anyway, so yeah, I'll give whoever wants the name, number, and if you guys have any complaints, well, hopefully now with the cooler weather, the mosquitoes slow down, hopefully. But anyways, then if you guys get any complaints, just direct them right to the director's way. Other than that, guys, that's all I really have. Like I said, we got a lot of little projects going on, but, man, just nothing's
What was
getting done.
Wendling's name? Brian Wendling?
Brian Wendling,
Brian
yeah, anytime you have a problem with a county drain, he's the drain commissioner. If you have a problem with a county ditch, then you call the road commission, which is Dennis Borchard, he's the director of that. You
So
guys
what is
probably-
Brian's position?
I-
Drain commissioner?
Drain commissioner, what is it?
Saginaw County Public Works.
Public Works, there you go.
You're the drain guy, right?
County commissioner.
Commissioner,
I
okay.
have nothing to do with drains.
Sorry.
Except everything keeps getting dumped on me. But, yeah, anything else? That's all I really have, guys.
Do you have a question for him, Mr. Coots?
I believe it rained 3 out of 7 days throughout the summer. We had nobody sprayed or anything around here. We had very little mosquitoes. The last 2 weeks, they've sprayed around here, and the mosquitoes are terrible. So what the hell are they using to feed them? It's getting dry here when they spray, and we have an abundance of mosquitoes. When they don't spray, there isn't hardly any. And it needs to be looked into somehow what the hell they're using to spray.
Well, that's another excuse that they're giving me. They can't spray in the rain. We've had a lot of rain, so they said the spray's not gonna work. I said, well, maybe you guys should double shift when we're not getting the rain then, or do something. But, so that's where they're giving me. I'm not buying any of it. I think it's all
Well, I'm not saying
BS.
anybody should do this, but we found this stuff, Tractor Supply. It's called Wisdom TC Formula. We put it in a sprayer.
Yep.
So like you're saying, once you spray it, it dries, it's good for a while until it rains a lot again, then they're right back, so.
Yeah.
It
See,
costs
we
$30
just-
for a little quart of
We're
it.
buying trucks, why don't we buy a mosquito truck?
There you
Get
go,
our
maybe
own.
rent it out to some of these places and parties and.
Yeah, we did used to have
I'll
way
spray
back
it
when.
on the ground.
Hey, we can put it on the back of the cop car, we can drive around town, check everything out.
Dual purpose.
I actually even tried getting to them to bring a substation
I
over for you
nominate
guys
Terry
here, our
Brown
part of the
to
county.
drive around the
They won't go
with
for
the
that.
mosquito truck.
To me, it makes sense.
The insurance.
Well, they haven't put the dog place out there in the township,
Yeah.
why can't they put the
And
mosquito
we're-
place out here?
The mosquito abatement people, they're bored, they wanna go on the east side, now northeast side of the county. So like I said, put a substation over here in St. Charles, Chestnut area, that'd be
Mosquitoes aren't
perfect.
bad in the city, are they?
I think they all get shot, I don't know. I don't know.
College, you got a bunch of trucks that nobody
Come up
drives.
close to the good
Put
one.
them out here.
Put 'em out
Don't
here.
drive.
Yeah.
Turn that off real
But
quick.
their thing is you got 55 gallon drums. For environmental regulations, this is what they explained to me. Every 55 gallon drum you have in that facility, you gotta make sure your sidewalls, for safety, can hold every ounce of fluid that leaks. So if you got 155 gallon drums and they all leak, you gotta be able to contain that inside your facility. So they said the cost of building these little substations all over just isn't feasible. Like I told them, you guys are just gonna get $11 million for a brand new building.
These kids gotta have
Make it
hazmat
work.
licenses or anything to do this stuff, I mean, no?
I'm sorry, what was
Is it
that?
hazardous stuff? I mean, what's the environmental thing? I mean, is it that hazardous?
It gotta be, yeah. They gotta keep it, and
But
it
these
kinda
kids are
makes
hauling
sense,
it
I
around
guess.
with no CDL,
But
no
so in St.
hazmat,
Charles,
nothing.
give you
I
guys
had plenty of
110
friends
gallons,
from
55
high
gallons.
school that worked
Give us some
for
trucks.
Steve.
Right, give a
Back
truck.
right up in your highway,
Sit
let
next
it
to
over,
Yeah.
man.
But that's
You
what
don't
they're
see that
telling me, and
anymore.
that's their excuses, so. I'm trying, but like I said,
Years ago, yeah.
call the director with any issues, he's the guy to talk to.
$20 bucks.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, that's
Spraying truck, they'll spray down the middle of the road. That doesn't go in your yard.
Yeah, I don't think they go off roads anymore,
No,
I
they
haven't
don't
seen them
go
off
in your
roads,
yard
so
anymore.
what
They tell
changed?
you 2 times a year.
You have to
they'll
fill
come
out a
to your
doctor's
yard.
form.
Yeah, and they'll like
They
come
don't
somebody
do
to
that.
that, yeah,
Okay.
doctor's form.
We have to fill it out every year. I do it because my kids get really
Yeah,
bad mouths,
I had that
and you have
too.
to fill it out, and then they do, but this year, like we said, it started so late, we've had them come through the yard twice, whereas last year, when it was through the summer, they were there once a week spraying it. We just have to refill that form out every year.
But did they go quite a ways in your yard?
They do the whole property, it's 5 acres. They go on the whole boundary.
I think if you don't have a doctor slip, they'll do it once or twice a year, I think
They
they
say
said.
twice, if you're having
Yeah.
a party
Yeah.
or.
You can do special, like, if you get a doctor's note,
Oh,
They fill out the form and they send it to them and they'll come by there whenever they, every time they go on the road, they'll stop by your down below your yard.
Yeah, they used to do my
Yeah,
kids.
the other thing they did years back, on our
My
street,
kids
in
did.
Redmond, they would go down the street slow, spraying on one side to the ground. They get down to the end, they turn around, they come back, and they would spray the other side, low, 10 miles an hour. Now, they go down the end of the road, turn around, come back 20 miles an hour, spraying in the air. If the wind's blowing, it's blowing off on one side. They're not doing worth a damn job. Why not go back the way they did before, spray both sides of the street? Well, they can't do that because they have a fixed thing on their truck and they spray them out. Bullshit.
I'd be happy to going down the middle of the road, Dave. I haven't even seen them at all.
You ain't lying, they ain't been here.
Nope.
They're driving through, they're not stopping and spraying.
Just wave as they go through.
College kids eating their lunch at our park.
Yeah, they're eating lunch at the park right
You
now.
gonna spray out here?
I'll stop next time and say, if you wanna park in our parks, you gotta spray.
There you go.
But yeah, if you guys ever have any
Yeah.
questions for me, just give me a
See
call
why
or
we have to
email or
request
something, you know,
so
get with me
much
like
to
that.
have them
If
spray.
I don't show up down here. These meetings are tough because we have so many county meetings.
Well, I think maybe we
Good.
opt out of their paying them their
Yeah.
fees or whatever, maybe that open their
I
eyes a
don't think
little
so. I
bit.
can't believe we passed it
They ain't
again last
spraying,
year.
they ain't spraying,
Back
why
out
we
and
pay
say,
them?
"Oh, just
How
say,
long is that for?
Screw you, we'll do our own thing.
What was it approved, how many years was it approved for?
I don't know.
Should look.
I don't know in that, because it's a millage, it's quite a few years.
I can only imagine how bad the mosquitoes are down the rail trail. You know, it's like, how are we supposed to utilize that if you're getting ate up alive trying to go down there?
Well, the rumor is going around that they used that money to put that building up and didn't actually do it for the services for the community.
It was
They wanted
not,
the building.
in the millage, it was not for the services. Their contract was good through this year. When you people passed that millage last year, they passed a new complex. It was right in there. That's why you tell people,
I
you need
don't know,
to
I'm
read the
just saying what
balance when
the
you
rumor
vote.
is, that
The wording
they
was right
snuck that
there.
in there, is all I heard, so.
You need to read the ballot.
They need to read the ballot and know
There
what's
you
on
go.
it, do some research or something. It was nothing about the
Everybody says
service.
sees mosquitoes, they're going, yeah, get rid
Yeah,
of
we
it.
did renew in that, they snuck in and we did renew their services in with that. But yeah, their services were good to the end of this year.
Who's the mosquito control head?
Bill
Who?
Stanuzik,
Bill Stanuzik?
William,
You know him?
I know the family.
Okay.
Something to be looked into for sure.
So anyways, guys, that's all I have. Unless you have any
Thank you, sir.
questions.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I have one question for Mr. Hartman.
Sir?
Is anything that we discussed this morning gonna be brought up in the future meetings?
The entire council received your agenda and all the documentation from this morning last Friday.
Okay. I'm just curious if anything's gonna be any
I've kept them
follow-up.
abreast of the agenda as it's been amended, throughout the entire time.
What are we talking about?
I'll give you a packet, I've got extra.
Not gonna discuss it.
Oh, we can go discuss
Well,
it.
just briefly, I mean,
Yeah,
we go
so,
through the thing, what is it all about? I mean, let's make it open in the public here, what's up?
Mr. Westlock et al. Had 10 questions and an agenda. We had a meeting this morning. You have all this information as of Friday. You've had the agenda for 2 months now. Deteriorating road conditions on East North and North Main Streets, we discussed. Who owns and pays for cleanup on Burt Blighted House on 424 East North, Land Bank. 3 questions for the police department that were answered. 4 questions for police department. Blight officer, Scott addressed, all of these, you'll see are on here.
Okay.
The practice of jake breaking in the village at 4 AM. Jake breaking is not
What's a
illegal.
jake break?
Hmm?
What's a jake break?
So it's put on a, I got you.
Rod, you know what that is.
Payment for the water tower, who paid for that and why are we not fixing roads with that money? It's a different tax increment financing. Ordinance about the garbage recyclable, great idea. The grass strip on the east side of the rail trail in front of the old boat works, on M2052. Some of it he'd like to see go back wild, and then some of it he'd like to see us take a little pride in mow, although it is state property. DPW, again, mowing some grass. Why does it take 2 employees every quarter to drive around and read the water meters? I supplied the information that we hired 2 new employees this year, one in January, one in March, and they were training. So going forward, it should be back down to 1. What to do with dead and decaying deer laying around?
With what?
Dead and decaying deer. There's a number through Saginaw County that you're supposed to call. DNR was involved and they got uninvolved, and then there was a fight up in Grand Traverse, and so now DNR is back involved, but there is the sheriff's office does have a route for that. Weed bags laying in the grass, that was been addressed. Roads being patched in a reasonable time. This says, why isn't the curbside brush pickup service not being completed the first Monday of the week? It's the first full week of the month. Green space is not mowed as routinely as possible. 400 East Oak, which is, you can kind of see from the rail trail. It's mowed every time we do the roadside, but I'd like to see more often. Opting out of allowing e-bikes on the rail trail. There's a few places that have opted out. Midland on the
They allow them, you saying, or don't?
the state passed three acts would have been last year. PA 138 of 2017, actually, it's been a couple of years, but the Great Lakes Bay region, the Chippewa Nature Trail, the Tridge are the places that they've opted out. The different classes and speeds, and then it was enforcing leash laws at the park. People need to put their dogs on leashes. And the use of unauthorized motor vehicles, mini bikes, gas-powered bikes, snowmobiles, and recreational wheels on the rail trail.
Yeah, he's supposed to do that, I think, the motor vehicles, right?
You're not supposed to.
But, like what he's saying, I mean, I realized, like, even when I was talking about the crap on Chestnut Street that I've been complaining about forever, these guys are really busy right now. But once this project is wrapped up with the water and whatever, I mean, you gotta know there's a lot, but you gotta have a little bit of a crew still to mow and to pat and to do other things, right?
Right.
You can't put all your eggs in one basket with this other, but, so, I think that, I understand why you're having a hard time getting people on out of that, but, yeah. Probably should be done though.
Did he have on there, on the list, about his brush that he piled by the river, so you couldn't go down there to fish?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He said there's brush that somebody piled up by the river.
He used some of his brush, piled it by the river, so people couldn't go down there to fish.
Mark did?
Where's that at?
And he was asked about that. That belongs to, I think, consumers and whatever. He had no right to put the brush down there to stop people from fishing, but he did. And he told the people, he came out and told the person that he couldn't fish there, and that was his brush. He didn't have that marked on that paper, right?
Are you talking about Mr. Westlock? Who are you talking?
Yes,
or
yes.
Talking about, okay, that is not on there, no.
Right. Westlock was the one that violating the ordinances, okay? This man has been a thorn in the village signs ever since he's been there. He wouldn't let school buses turn around in there. He hollered at kids riding their bicycles down there. He's violating all kinds of things. I don't know what his problem is. But you know, years ago, when they had people that was a nuisance, there was ways to take care of that. Then there's an attitude change behind the barn, Another one was a bachelor party. I don't think we need to see something like that. I think there ought to be some type of ordinance set up that he's violating the privacy of the people in this community. Once his eyes go beyond the 33-foot right-of-way, he's trespassing, just like if he walked there himself. It's none of his business what the hell anybody is doing in this community, unless it's directly involving him right alongside him. I think somehow he needs to be stopped. He wasn't hired by anybody, he wasn't asked by anybody. All he's doing is creating a problem for everybody in this village.
May I ask someone to interpret for me what was said?
It'll be in the meeting minutes.
I'm deaf, so.
Closed session pursuant to 15.267, section 8A, village manager evaluation.
I'm gonna make a motion to close the public meeting.
Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
See you guys.
See you, Denny.
Thank you, Denny.
Vote to close.
Motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
At 9:18.
Aye.
Those opposed? Session's closed.
Open the meeting.
Motion to open the meeting?
Regular meeting.
Oh, we gotta vote.
Yeah, we gotta open up the public meeting again.
We already adjourned.
No, we didn't.
They closed the
Did
We
close.
just closed the closed session.
I made a motion to adjourn.
We can't do it yet. We got motion to open the public meeting.
Second, somebody.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
9:18. Motion to.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
9:18.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
And Paul, I did
Oh,
learn.
that's-
I moved the last public comment above the closed session because of Mrs. Bailey.